Hello and welcome to another video with me, Rauchenwald. Now recently I've reviewed a bunch of mobile applications that claim to become new cryptocurrencies like Pi Network, B Network, TimeStope and so on. And you can find links to those videos in the card up there. And in today's video I'm going to look at yet another mobile application that claims to become a new cryptocurrency in the future called Spotter Network. And I'm going to tell you if it's worth your time or if it's actually just a scam to make money from ad revenue or collect your personal data or whatever. So stay tuned and make sure to watch the video to the end so you'll actually get the full picture about Spotter Network. Now the first thing we're going to take a look at is the Spotter Network website, and for that I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Now as you can see, there is not much to see on the Spotter Network website. The first thing we'll notice, we have a contact email in the top left corner, plus links to their Instagram and Telegram channel. We'll talk about that later a little bit more. And besides that, we pretty much just have the link to download the app. Now when you click here, it will either get you to the Google Play Store or to the Apple App Store to download the Spotter Crypto app. If we scroll down, we see some additional information, but honestly, none of this actually provides any kind of deep insight what Spotter Network is actually about. What bothers me the most about this is that Spotter Network is apparently a creation by two Italian developers, so they are based within Europe, yet they are not complying with basic European regulations, like for example having a privacy policy on your website or a cookie notice pop up or an imprint, so information about the company or person that are responsible for the content on that website. Now I get it, when you start a new project you may not be able to dot all the I's and cross all the T's because it's a lot of things to consider when you really launch a business, but it's definitely not too much to ask to cover the basics. If you were to start a business and you create your website, all you would have to do is like Google legal requirements for a website or for a business website in whatever country or in Europe or in the US, and you would find a list of things that you need to have on your page in order to be legally compliant. And it's not a lot, it just requires you to put some effort into looking it up. So that's the first huge red flag when it comes to Spotter Network. There is no white paper, there are no F.A.Q, there is no information who's responsible for the website. There is literally nothing there that has to be there. If we compare it with other projects like TimeStope, Pi Network, B Network and so on, they are all not perfect, they all have their flaws and small oversights, so things that they forgot or didn't consider that they would be required along the way, but they all provide at least some basic information to give you an idea who's behind the whole project and what it's all about. If you consider Pi Network, for example, you have a full white paper that outlines all the steps of what the cryptocurrency is meant to be and which milestones there are along the way. Spotter Network doesn't even have that right now. And before we move on to the actual Spotter Crypto mobile app, I quickly want to go back to the top of the page to again come back to the Instagram account and Telegram account. On the Instagram account, as you can see, there are a handful of pictures, 300 followers, and literally no information whatsoever. So there's no insight as to who is actually behind Spotter and so on. The only thing the Instagram account does currently is promote the download of the application and also in the description of the pictures their Telegram channel. That brings us to the Spotter Network Telegram channel. When I learned about Spotter Network and started doing my research, I actually was looking forward to join the channel and ask some questions to get some more insights as to who is behind Spotter Network, what's their plan for the future and so on. But it's been a huge disappointment because, as you can see here, the Spotter Network Telegram group is actually closed, so you cannot write messages. You can only basically receive messages from the Spotter team, and there are so far only two messages. Number one, welcome to the Telegram channel. Number two, we are working on the white paper. So they haven't even written a basic white paper yet that outlines what they are planning to do. So even before we get to installing and looking at the Spotter Crypto application itself, there are already so many red flags that tell us that either it's a project by, I don't know, inexperienced people that have no clue how to launch such a project, or I don't know, they simply didn't have the time yet to fulfill the basic legal requirements, or it's simply some kind of scam, or I don't know what. We get to that later when we look at the app actually. Lastly, before we go ahead and take a look at the Spotter Network, Spotter Crypto application, there's one more thing that I want to point out, and for that I'm going to share my screen with you guys again. And as you can see, we're looking at the Spotter Crypto app in the Apple App Store preview or Apple App Store. And when we scroll down here, we're usually supposed to see some privacy information, and we see that Spotter Network hasn't complied yet with that requirement from the App Store. So they didn't fill out all the fields, and you see that they will be required to do that when they provide their next app update, or the app update will not get published. Sure, that's just a minor red flag because it's something that they still have time to do, but that they should have done already in the first step. And last but not least, when we follow from the App Store to the Spotter Network privacy policy, we can actually find a few more red flags. Number one, within Europe, and thanks to GDPR, you would actually need to appoint a person or a contact person that you can contact regarding your privacy policy issues. So if you have requests and stuff like that, there is no contact information in this privacy policy. Number two, the only contact field that there is an email somewhere along the way. Let's see if I can find it. Or here it says email protected, but it's broken. When you click on it, it does not open your email program or show you an email address. It simply shows you an error. So their privacy policy, the way they are now, are simply not sufficient and don't fulfill the legal requirements, which is another huge red flag. With that, we're going to move on to the Spotter app mobile application, and I've already opened it up on my phone. I'm going to put it here so you can see what I'm doing. And as you can see, I've already went ahead and mined a couple of sessions. Now, if for some reason you want to test the app yourself and take a look for yourself, you can find the installation instruction plus my referral code in the description down below. But again, based on all the red flags we've seen so far and the things I'm going to show you in the rest of the video, you probably shouldn't even bother wasting your time. The first thing we notice in the Spotter app is that we also have a mining button, so we can basically push a button to start a mining session. Where in the apps that we reviewed previously, you have to push that button once per day, which makes perfectly sense because it means that you stay engaged with the application, you log in once per day, you see if there are any news, and if there are news, you stay up to date, you stay interested and involved in the project, and it doesn't take you a lot of time. In Spotter, however, when I press that button, it tries to show an ad. Now, because I'm in Ukraine and the ad provider that most of those companies and projects are using doesn't have a lot of ads for Ukraine, I don't see an ad. But if you're within the US, UK, or other major countries, you're likely to see an advertising. Plus, you'll get asked to please leave a review for the Spotter app, and you'll have both of those things happen every time you push the mining button. So every time you push the mining button, you will see an ad in most countries, and you will be asked to leave a review. Now I'm going to click cancel here, and we see another huge difference between Spotter Network and every other project that we reviewed so far. Your mining session actually only lasts 1 hour. So every hour you would have to open the app and push a button, which first of all means it makes more effort. And second of all, while it's not solid proof, it's strong evidence that Spotter Network is not an app that's legitimate and will end up in a cryptocurrency, but is literally just jumping on the hype train of Pi and B network to get people to download the app and watch advertising, so the creators of the app make a ton of money in advertising revenue. Now, there are a bunch of other red flags within the app itself. If we look into the menu, we can already see that the first menu item, the home screen that we're currently looking at, is called wallet, but it's not a wallet. Spotter Network is not a cryptocurrency, if at all. If it were a legit project, it's a cryptocurrency in the making, and the app that you have right now is not a crypto wallet. It may one day become a crypto wallet if the project would be legit. We would need to see a white paper and some progress to actually be able to say that with 100% certainty, but it's not yet a wallet, which is at best misleading people to think that they are already having a wallet and making profit. But it gets even worse, because when we go to calculator, we can actually see that the app tells me I'm currently owning 16.66 Spotter, whatever the currency unit is. And it tells me that the value of those coins is $0.068. Spotter Network or Spotter Crypto is not a cryptocurrency. You cannot use it, you cannot trade it, it's not listed on any exchange, it doesn't have a blockchain, it's not, or there's no proof that they're working on a blockchain, so therefore it has exactly zero value. And showing people any kind of value in the app to make them think that what they have actually is valuable is misleading and simply wrong. Now, one would think that's already enough red flags, but it doesn't stop there. If we think about Pi Network, for example, There you have advertising once per day. When you check your app, you might see an ad that supports the whole Pi network infrastructure, but you also have the option to disable your advertising in the settings of the application. When we look at the Spotter network settings, we can see no such setting. We can pick our language, we can see our email and our username, and that's pretty much it. And we could enable two-factor authentication, whatever good that does, considering that there is nothing else about the app that needs protection. Now, last but not least, maybe we can find some answers within the F.A.Q of Spotter network. And I want to point out one red flag here is that the F.A.Qs are not publicly available on the website. You actually can only find them within the application. And within the F.A.Q, we see things like what is Spotter, which are Spotter steps, how do I earn SP, which stands for Spotter or whatever, and how do I increment my earnings and so on. And most of those questions and answers are pretty much very simplified copies from whatever Pi network uses as their answers. But the whole F.A.Q section doesn't provide any solid evidence that there's actually some kind of development of a cryptocurrency in progress or ongoing. Now, I want to be perfectly clear here. There is a very, very small chance that Spotter Network is simply a project that's very early in development and that the people that are behind it simply didn't consider the required things like privacy policies and other stuff. And they might catch up and publish a white paper and actually launch real development and show proof that the project is legit. If that's the case, I would update this video and you would find the card up here and information in the description and so on that points to the new updated video. However, at the moment, with the information available, my advice is stay away, don't waste your time. It's 99% certain that this is just a scam that tries to benefit or profit off the popularity and demand for Pi and B network to make money through advertising revenue for the Spotter network developers. Now with that, I'm gonna leave you guys to it. As always, thanks for watching. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. If you have any questions whatsoever, or you disagree with me, or maybe you have proof that it's actually a legitimate project, then please leave them down or leave it down in the comments down below. With that, have a nice day. See you in one of my other videos. Till then, bye bye.